Buenas tardes, everyone. We thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already done so, please take your seat as we are beginning our program. At this time, I'd like to welcome GMCC Board Chairman and CEO of South Texas Health System Edinburgh and Edinburgh Children's Hospital, Mr. Lance Ames, for our official welcome.
All right, thank you all so much. There's some great energy with y'all today. What do you think? Is this an exciting day to be out and about in Mission? All right. Well, Buenas Tardes. We are honored today to have some great guests with us. There are so many strong and resilient leaders in Mission and throughout really the entire RGV, many of which are here with us today. And we are honored to have with us Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa with us. Thank you. Sarah Hammond, the president of Atlas Electric. All right, and Nick Rhodes, the president and CEO of Rhodes Enterprises. We're looking forward to their remarks today. There's so much forward thinking and creative thinking that goes into everything that they do, and we're honored to be able to learn from them as we have a panel discussion today. We're also very grateful for all of our title sponsors. On behalf of the Greater Mission Chamber Board and Board of Directors, I'd like to thank the Mission Mayor, Mayor Ocana, thank you, as well as our city council members. They're always very appreciated. Where are you all at? Thank you. Today's title sponsor is Vexus Fiber. We're very grateful for them for also sponsoring this event. Had some time to meet with Jim Gleason today, and man, talk about forward thinking, and if we could give them a round of applause and thankful for sponsoring this event. Great, so we've gotten our hands all warmed up, which is excellent. We are now going to, I'm going to list our premier event sponsors today, and if you wouldn't mind holding applause until after I read all of their names. We'll start with the City of Mission, Mission CISD, Cano & Sons Trucking, Mission Economic Development Corporation, Mission Regional Medical Center, Bird Ogden RGV, South Texas Health System, Aeromar, and IBC Bank. Thank you. We also have several great table sponsors for this event today, and I will also read that list. Meldon and Hunt, Atlas, Them City, Regency Integrated Health, Edwards Abstract and Title Company, Social Life, Plains Capital, Capital Title, Spa Glass, DHR, State Farm Insurance with Monica de la Cruz Hernandez, Pathfinder, Green Insurance Group, and Keystone Construction. Thank you. With that, I would just like to, again, thank all of those who have been involved with our event today. This is a record-breaking event for the Mission Chamber of Commerce for the Buenas Tardes Luncheon, so you are all participating in history today. Enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thanks, Lance, and I love our cheering sections that we have for our panelists today. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the presentation of colors led by the Mission Police Department Honor Guard. And please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation led by GMCC Board Director, Ms. Sandra Vecchio.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We all bow our heads as I do the invocation. Almighty and loving Father, we praise you and adore you. We pray that you bless this gathering of friends and colleagues this afternoon. As we have come together as a group united in passion and purpose, come and help us maintain unity as our speakers discuss, enlighten us in certain matters. We pray for open hearts and minds that will promote and accept all that is said today. We pray for a productive and meaningful luncheon that will broaden our perspective by our many speakers. Send us your Holy Spirit to be our guide and give us the wisdom to understand every topic that our speakers are going to discuss. Enlighten our minds and let your love be upon us. Bless the food before us that has been provided to nourish our bodies. May this Buenas Tardes Luncheon bring success and growth to everyone attending today. We praise and give you all the glory. In Jesus' holy name we pray, amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Sandra. At this time, I'd like to welcome our City of Mission Mayor, Dr. Armando Ocana, to the podium for official welcome remarks from the City of Mission.
Thank you, Roxana. Hello, everyone. It's a great honor for me to be here today to recognize and celebrate some of our great community leaders. I know that we have gone through difficult times and that the pandemic has changed every aspect of our lives. But we must move forward. In Mission, we will continue working together because together we are stronger. I am grateful to the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to be here today and to share experiences and ideas for the development and the growth of our community. I extend a warm welcome to Texas State Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa, Sarah Hammond, President of Atlas Electric, and Mr. Nick Rhodes, President and CEO of Rhodes Enterprises. Again, a warm welcome to all three. The greatness of a city is recognized by its people and their commitment to others. And everyone here is part of this great community called Mission, Texas. I thank you all for your presence, and I hope that today we all learn a little more from each other, from the speakers, and from self-reflection. And at this time, I want to thank you and welcome you to the all-American city, City of Mission.
Thank you, Mayor. Please start enjoying your lunches if you haven't already done so. And now I'd like to turn it over to our title sponsor for today, Vexus Fiber.
At Vexus, we know fiber is the future of working and playing at home, of success in business, for communities to grow and prosper. That's why we're investing in multi-million-dollar fiber network expansions for our cutting-edge technologies and helping our customers see what it really means to discover different. At Vexus, we are a reliable company that strengthens engagement and grows communities. We pride ourselves on being innovative, flexible, and quickly able to adapt to changing customer needs. And we seek to deliver experiences that are fun, lively, and useful. When Vexus comes to town, we bring along a promise of new jobs, of faster connections, of new opportunities for the people who live and work here, all in a plan that gets communities moving faster in no time. We build a network with care so that our expansions fit the communities we serve, so we can offer hundreds of new permanent jobs in each location and help push economic growth and prosperity. Vexus is proud to offer residents high-quality critical services. Our fiber-to-the-premises connections bring entire households an ultra-high-speed internet experience. with bandwidth for everyone, HDTV, smart home capabilities, and phone service. While our future-proof technologies for business, education, agriculture, and healthcare include multi-gig speed for symmetrical uploads and downloads, hosted voice telecloud, and so much more. At Vexus, we're committed to partnering with communities that want the best high-speed internet infrastructure in the industry. Vexus, discover different.
Thank you. I'm Jim Gleason, president of Vexus Fiber, and we are very, very excited to be here in Mission today. We're announcing that we're building a brand new 100% fiber broadband network throughout the valley, and to be able to provide better broadband service to both residential customers and business customers in the area. We found that in many, many cities that the broadband technology that's in place today is in many cases outdated, and we're proud to be making this investment here to build a brand new solution to this area. I would also note that we're very, very excited about this area. The growth that's going on here, the enthusiasm of this group today in this room is just really, really exciting, and we're happy to be able to take a part of it today. So thank you very much, and I'll go on with the program.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, so we can get started. I want to formally introduce today's Mistress of Ceremony and today's moderator, Roxanne Ledema. Roxanne Ledema is a media director for the All-America City of Mission. She has been with our great city for nearly 3 years now. Roxanne has more than 25 years of experience in the media industry. She graduated from the University of Texas Pan American with a communications degree and began her career with KGBT TV Channel 4 as an intern, then weekend reporter while she was still in college. She worked her way up as a full-time reporter and anchor for the local CBS station. She has also worked with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley Media Department, been a marketer in the healthcare industry, and worked 5 years with the city of McAllen as a reporter and producer before coming to the city of Mission. Roxanne has 4 amazing kids, 3 of which are in college. She has 2 UTSA Roadrunners, an Aggie, and a junior in high school. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator, Roxanne Ledema.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. I appreciate the kind introduction, and I'm certainly excited for the opportunity to be here. It takes me back a little to have this talk show style format. It takes me a little back to my media days. I'm excited about that. And we're all in for a treat with some awesome panelists. So let's get to know them a little better. And first of all, thank you all for being with us. Sarah Hammond is the president of Atlas Electric and Air Conditioning, Refrigeration, and Plumbing Services, a company that's located in Alton. It's been in operation since 1983. The company services expanded, and they are now in Laredo, Brownsville, Corpus, and up to Austin. Wow. Today, the business enjoys a 3,000 square foot facility, 34 employees, and partnership service locations throughout the Rio Grande Valley. She holds a finance degree and a real estate degree from A&M. Where's the whoop? I know there's some in here. She's been working on the accounting books with Atlas since she was only 15 years old. Took over the financials in '97 and in 2012 was made president. Although her numerous accolades, business, and community involvement are part of her mission for self-growth, what brings most happiness to Sarah is her family. She's married to Coach Marty Hammond, and together they have 3 strong, amazing daughters. Please put your hands together for Miss Sarah Hammond. Thank you, cheering section. A McAllen native, Juan Chuy Hinojosa, is an attorney and state senator representing Senate District 20. He's a proud U.S. Marine who, after his service in Vietnam, went on to receive his bachelor's from UTPA and his law degree from Georgetown University. Senator Hinojosa served in the Texas House of Representatives from 1981 until 1990, and then again from 97 to 2002 before his election to the Texas Senate. During the 2019 legislative session alone, Senator Hinojosa secured more than $20 million in funding for UTRGV, at least $6 million to create the first level 1 trauma facility in the Valley, $5 million for expansion of the South Texas International Airport, and over $1 million for library services in border cities. He currently serves as the Vice Chair of the Senate Jurisprudence Committee and Vice Chair of the Senate Redistricting Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for a very well-known speaker, our Senator Chuy Hinojosa. And last but certainly not least, Nick Rhodes has served as president and CEO of Rhodes since 2015 after earning a Bachelor of Science in Economics from Southern Methodist University. He has led the company through aggressive expansion, establishing Rhodes as the largest award-winning land developer and residential home builder in South Texas, while simultaneously increasing revenue, get this, by 950%. Not too shabby. Through his leadership and influence, Rhodes has developed from a small to mid-size, high-performing employer of choice for nearly 100 team members. He is a Texas native that was raised in Canyon Lake. He currently lives in McAllen and enjoys baseball, golf, and investing. Please welcome Mr. Nick Rhodes. So we've heard a bit from your bios that I read, but I really want to give you guys also a chance to introduce yourselves, maybe talk a little bit about your organization or the position that you hold, and also give us a little insight into today's topic, which focuses on how the community influenced your success, the importance of influencing others positively, and then just the significance of mentors that you've had in your lives. So Sarah, let's start with you. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm humbled that everybody here is present and grateful to everybody that made it out today. Thank you. I can't talk about community unless I first talk about leadership. I think that my parents taught me from the beginning. When I was born, they taught me the Bible. I was Bible raised, so I learned scripture very quickly. And while in the platform, there was a speaker who said something to me that stayed with me forever. The speaker said, in order for you to serve God, there's 3 things you have to have constantly. And they're the 3 H's. Honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. There's a quote that says, when you see things a certain way, and you change the way you see things, the way you see the things changes. So you really have to be honest with yourself. You know, is it the way that you're seeing the things, or is it the way that you can change the way you see the world? Secondly, the other H is humble. You really need to be humble. You need to remain humble. When you become less impressed with people, right? I mean, we're up here, but we're really not. When we become less impressed with the people that are in front of us, we become more involved. And it takes every one of us to become involved to make that change. And the last H is hungry. You have to be hungry for the word. You have to be hungry to accept better. So when you're hungry, you're open arms, and you're willing to learn and mold and change yourself constantly, because we're constantly learning. So my parents embedded that into me. So when I see the community, I respond with those 3 H's on a daily basis.
I love that. Honesty, humble, hungry. Senator, same to you. If you can give us a little insight into your background and how our community has had a good and positive influence on you.
Well, first of all, I'm actually raised here in Mission. My family is from Peñitas. I was born in McAllen.
Just born.
Well, you know, and For me, besides my parents, my teachers in Mission High School were very much key to my education, to who I am today and what I've been able to accomplish. For me, education has always driven me and is the best equalizer we have in our society. But I do remember picking cotton up in McCook, up in the northwest of the county. And I remember looking at those long rows of cotton on a hot summer day. And I said, there's got to be a better way to make a living. And yes, there is. Get an education. And I worked fixing flats, washing cars, washing trucks, dishwashing. But again, in Mission High School, my teachers were teachers that were very much focused on teaching me about life, getting to make sure that I spoke English, más o menos. But my coaches were also key. My coaches were very much involved in my growing up, and Coach Lum Wright, Superintendent Kenneth White, Dr. Kenneth White, they taught me about leadership, about teamwork, about discipline, and being focused. And to me, what I learned throughout my life is to, at a very early age, to stay away from negative people. Okay? People that tell you you can't make it, you can't do it. You want to be what? An attorney? Chuy, you can't even speak English. Right? But I didn't listen to those naysayers. I know what I wanted. And one of the key aspects of being successful is having a plan of action. Understanding what your goals are. And be flexible. Sometimes you may have to sort of step back and again, sort of review your goals. But your plan of action always stays within certain goals that you want in your life. In business, whether it's a profession, always including your family, but it's important. And when you have those type of goals, you may have to also deviate somewhat to the right, to the left, but never get discouraged. And if you get discouraged, don't give up. Don't give up. And then you have to follow up. I learned very quickly that many times people tell you, give you ideas, or they ask you to do something for them, and you forget about it because you don't write it down, you don't take notes. I take notes all the time. I carry 3x5 index cards where I write my to-do things. I also have my iPhone now that I record to-do things, and I follow up, and it's very important. The other aspect to me of being successful is working with other people. Sometimes you may disagree with other folks, but that's okay too. Many times you compromise, you work through those problems, very difficult issues, and come up with a solution to work out a certain problem. Because a problem doesn't only need one solution. For a certain challenge or problem, there will be 3 or 4 or 5 solutions to that problem. And you're a better person in working with others who may disagree with you or need and want to follow some changes. And what I go in terms of involvement with the community, to me is very important for us, all of us, to always give back to a community. And the community has been very, very, very key. It develops in who you are, your church, your small business, your friends, your neighborhoods, your social gatherings, and it's important to participate. So that community involvement is what really shaped me in what I do today. And I could give you more background about my career. When I first ran for state rep, nobody gave me a chance of winning. But I had to go back to Pan American. Pan American was a key institution for us here in the Rio Grande Valley. It created a middle class. For many of us who were poor, dirt poor, but Pan American gave us that opportunity and that chance. And many of us really took advantage of that. Vietnam, for me in the Marine Corps, I lost 3 of my classmates killed in action in Vietnam. That's very painful, very emotional. But Vietnam in the Marine Corps taught me about love of our country, appreciate the freedom we have in America, and really gave me much more energy when I came back to be successful and take advantage of the opportunities that this great nation of ours offered me, and I did that. In politics, right now it's very divisive. It's a lot of hostility, something I've never experienced. But I still deal with a lot of other legislators because they come and represent their respective districts, and focus on the priorities for my Senate district and the Valley, plus the priorities statewide. So I work with Republicans and Democrats, and the vast majority of issues in the legislature are not partisan. We focus on public policy, we focus on how to solve problems, and try to stay away, even though it's very difficult, of some of those divisive issues that are dividing our nation. And for us, it's really up to us as a community to work with each other and for the betterment of the community. One last point on that. The issues should all be about the quality of life, our family, our churches, our economy, jobs, and the infrastructure needs that we may have to make things work for all of us. For our waste, clean water, good healthcare system. And I focus on all those issues, again, very, very much impacted by the feedback that I received from my community. Without that, I couldn't survive. I couldn't function in terms of the work that I do as a state senator. If I don't get feedback, even when it's negative or criticism, it helps me become a better state senator. And I'll stop with that.
Thank you, Senator. Nick, I know that you were raised in Canyon Lake, but can you tell us how being in the Valley has influenced you, and then also give us a little background about yourself as well?
First of all, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
And I moved down to Mission, Texas, actually, in 2014. So going on 7 years down here. Straight out of college, so my family has a family business called Rhodes Enterprises. We're real estate developers and home builders in the Valley. And when I came down, I started in our home building division. We were building 10 homes a year, and I have extremely supportive parents, and they pretty much said, we'll support you. We have some capital if you want to grow the home building company, and it's kind of all yours to do what you want. So we went on this big growth path, and before we did that, I was fortunate enough to not know anything. I'm not very old, if you can't tell. So as far as leadership goes, I always have just read a lot and relied on continuously learning and always knowing that, you really never know that much and you're always trying to get better. So we set this goal. My first year, we wanted to build 1,000. We were building 10 homes. We wanted to build 1,000 homes a year by 2027. And then we set a core mission statement to enhance the lives of our employees and customers through building communities. And then we kind of, from there, decided, what steps do we need to take. And from a leadership standpoint, I knew we needed great people. So our average age employee at the time, we had 20 employees. I think the average age was like 55. Now we have 140. The average age is 32. Wow. And we focused on, targeting young people that we can hire, teach and train through operating mechanisms, through books we've read and other mentors I've had, and then continue to grow city by city. And this year we're going to build about 500 homes, so we're halfway there to our goal throughout the Rio Grande Valley. But as far as leadership goes, it's all people, and then we're all trying to make the community a better place, fun business to be in. And our core values is something, integrity, honor our team, and one of them is community leadership. And some people that work for us think since we build communities, it's literal leadership in building the communities we build, but it's actually about community leadership in the areas we serve and giving back and making better places to live, parks, schools, trails. So it's a lot of fun what we do. And but starting in Mission, that's where I lived and that's where our office was. We still have a division down in Mission, and it was kind of, we use it as a place to experiment and learn, and very grateful and happy to be here. So
I'm guessing your parents were okay with you taking the reins then?
Yeah, they've been okay so far. So
Senator, back to you working in the cotton fields. When you were that kid looking at that stack of cotton, did you ever think that you would be a Texas State Senator?
No. I did not know that. I knew at that time that there was very hard way to make a living. Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and being out there super hot on hot summer days with long rows of cotton and getting paid, I guess, I forgot, 2 or 3 pennies per pound. But I knew right then and there that I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have a different life than picking cotton. And I knew the key was education. So my teachers told me that, my coaches told me that, my parents told me that, and I followed that advice.
Thank you, Senator. Sarah, can you share with us what you feel is the biggest challenge, so to speak, in your respective field right at this moment?
Being a woman.
Okay, yeah.
Seriously, this industry is very male-centered, very male, it's a male's industry. And so sometimes being a woman can be a challenge. Like I'll have employees or people that come in to apply that don't want to work for a woman, so they won't come back. You know, just little things like that.
Well, then we probably don't need that.
But I have great support, and I believe in supporting women and women in organizations, and I believe in really growing, you know, mentors and finding sponsors out there. And so just with that type of leadership, I think, you know, we can overcome anything.
Nick, same thing. What do you think is the biggest challenge for you right now in your particular field?
In the home building business, kind of nationwide since COVID, there's been a big increase in demand. And just down here in the valley, typically there's about 2,400 homes for sale at a time, and there's about 1,200. So there's half the homes for sale. So it's been a good problem to have, but as far as for new home builders go, nationwide there's this rush to keep building more homes, and it's caused shortages all over the place. There's shortages in supplies, shortages in labor, shortages in trained people. So the last year, it's been we've been growing very fast, but it's been a constant struggle with you know, not taking on too much with the resources we have available. So that's been the past year.
It's kind of strange that in the middle of a pandemic, more people are buying, though. Like you said, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of 3 reasons. The pandemic, a lot of people didn't want to sell their house. They didn't want people in their homes. They wanted to stay put. And then second of all, there was a rush for people working at home, people going to school at home. They wanted a yard, a bigger house. A lot of people wanted a residential house. And then there's 2.7 million Americans who haven't made a mortgage payment and they can't get foreclosed on. So typically there's a lot of supply of housing that hasn't been on the market the last 2 years. So those are kind of causing a lot of supply issues.
Okay. Senator, your field, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you face right now?
For me, as a state senator, I was part of the leadership team with Governor Abbott as how to divide and distribute over $6 billion throughout the state of Texas, and focusing on the many aspects on the needs of our state, not only in terms of providing subsidies to daycare centers, to have a place where essential workers could leave the children, to providing and making sure that our unemployment benefits flow and have the proper staff to administer those programs, including our public education. How to make sure that we understood the needs of public education and teaching our kids long-distance learning when we finally focused and discovered that broadband was such an important part and was needed so much. We didn't have the proper network statewide. Dealing with healthcare. So that was a very difficult challenge because we had to make some very difficult decisions. And we spent probably over $100 million just responding to hotspots in our state when the pandemic first hit. It's something we have never dealt with in our lifetimes. So that was very challenging for us. And just as very challenging was hearing parents call our office that their husband didn't have a job, they had no food, the electricity was about to cut off, they have money for rent. Dealing with those issues, we met every day for at least 2 hours. At the other day, and went through a whole bunch of requests and plans and tried to identify those areas. That was pretty challenging for me in terms of trying to address the different requests that are being made and set priorities to provide the best we could do to help and support the general public deal with this huge pandemic.
Okay. I think we all learned the importance of Zoom meetings now, right? I mean, we work completely different.
And thanks for asking that. one of the biggest challenges that I had in terms of, for me, is learning how to use Zoom. I always thought Zoom was a dance, like Zumba. But I'm not what I would say a high-tech guy, but I learned enough to be able to deal with Zoom and use it. So that was very challenging to me personally.
Yeah, I'm not too techie either. It's been trial and error, but we're figuring it out together. Sarah, what do you think has helped you get where you are? And then you talked about being in a male-dominated field. So what advice would you have for others who are maybe trying to trailblaze and set off in a similar direction?
I think that when you decide to put your mind to something, you just do it. Like somebody said earlier, you stay away from the negativity. People who say you can't. You just got to push forward constantly. And you've got to surround yourself with the right people. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have the support of my parents who made me strong. My mother, I think, once said when I was about 19 in that rebellious age, which my daughter is in right now, but besides the point, too much information. Yes. She said to me, I think I made you too strong. And that's always stayed with me as well, because I can take anything. And it doesn't matter what happens to me, I'm gonna get up. You know, I can fall down, but I'm gonna get right back up and I'm gonna trailblaze again. And so as long as you always stay with that mindset, there was a quote in the book, Green Lights, if y'all haven't read it, it's written by Matthew McConaughey. Not just because he's amazing, right?
Not because he looks like that either.
Yeah. But in the book, he says, resist the urge to hate. Now that's in the Bible as well, in the scripture. But in his phrase, when he says resist the urge to hate, that's pretty powerful, because we all have that inherent opportunity to breathe that in. But when you resist that urge, you're truly working on yourself. And so when you don't hate, whatever it is that you want to do is going to be successful.
It's funny that you mentioned that specific book. I had heard about it from Rick Venecia, our Boys and Girls Club director. So now I'm going to have to read it, not just because it's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, not just because it's him and really. Yeah.
I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, Senator, but what's gotten you to the point that you're at? And same thing, what advice would you have for others that maybe want to be a Texas senator or an attorney?
Well, I think we all contribute in our own ways to our community. And I always tell young people and people that are asking for advice and guidance, you have to do and work where you're happy. It's something that you like and enjoy. If you're not happy with your work, if you're not happy with your career, your profession, you will probably more likely fail. It'll cause mental issues, health issues. You will not do your best. Politics is a very rough sport. If people want to be a politician, I say, well, gee, I'm going to look at somebody else, something else first. But there's a lot of satisfaction. If you want to be involved in politics, I use that in public office, from city mayor to city commissioner, you have to get involved with other campaigns. You have to be involved in the issues that impact the whole community. You have to have a voice. And you have to learn the basics of campaigning and not be afraid to speak out and meet people that you want and ask them their vote. And you have to sell yourself as to why they should vote for you, why they should support you. You got to know your issues. So that's a good way to get started if you want to be in public office. As a lawyer, I think being a lawyer is a great profession only because once you become a lawyer, there are so many options. By that I mean, you can be a family law, you can be a prosecutor, you can be a defense attorney, you can be a corporate lawyer, or use your law degree to just go into business. The opportunities are there. But you gotta remember, this is not an 8 to 5 job. You have to put in the time and the commitment to be able to get where you wanna go. And along the way, there's a lot of discouragement, many times a lot of obstacles. And like I said a while ago, people keep trying to discourage you, you're not gonna make it, you can't do it. Well, that's not the case. And you look at other public officials, if you're young and want to get involved, that's the way you do it. They will, you bring them into the campaign as a volunteer, you can work and understand all the different aspects of running a public office and what you have to do. We deal with a whole range of issues, very different than when I first started. now that I've been in public office quite some time, the range of issues we deal from broadband to healthcare to economic development. So it really broad in terms of a perspective on educational base as to what the issues are that impact our communities.
Okay. Nick, same to you. What would you say to maybe your younger self to get you to the point that you are today?
For me, I think any advice for someone wanting to grow as a leader, as a business person, just reading. My favorite mentor read all his books, named Warren Buffett, this investor. He reads 500 pages a day. So I can't read that much a day, but I can, to get as close as I can.
As in the billionaire Warren Buffett?
What?
As in the billionaire Warren Buffett?
Yeah, Warren
Okay,
Buffett. So, but is constantly reading. So whatever industry you're in, there's probably a plethora of books and trade shows you can go to and conventions. And another kind of secret I always use is every public company has to release something called a 10K. It's like a 200-page report on every detail of their business. And I'm obsessed with reading any industry or business we're doing to study their 10Ks. It's almost like a public information report. And a lot of it's just copying. So Sam Walton also has a great book. He founded Walmart. And he'll tell you most of everything he did with Walmart is just copying other people. He was obsessed with going in every single store on every vacation. He'd study every store, check their prices. So what a lot of Walmart was a copy of Kmart, which was in most big markets. And he just would make tweaks. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel pretty much in a lot of your business. You can just study other people, learn from them, and then make certain tweaks and implement it yourself. So,
I love that you said reading, because I'm an avid reader. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. In the 5th grade, I actually got in trouble because my teacher came up to me and I had my textbook, but I had another book in the center. I wasn't actually paying attention, so I was sent to the principal for that. So, but I encourage reading as well. Sarah, what motivates you? Why do you get up in the morning and hit the streets running?
Coffee.
Oh,
No.
coffee. Okay.
Honestly, my parents.
You've mentioned that a whole lot.
Well, they do motivate me. They're here today. I just,
Where
my
are they?
Mom and Dad, if you'll raise your hand. They are present.
Oh, hi, Mom and Dad. What a blessing. How old, if you don't mind me asking?
My parents?
Yes.
My dad is 73 and my mom is 69.
And looking amazing, I might add.
Yeah, my parents motivate me to just want to be the best person that I can be. Whenever I would come home complaining to my dad, he would always tell me, and so what did you do? How did you fix it? He never let me wallow in my self-pity.
I love that.
And so just wanting to make them proud, right? You go through some rebellious stages, so maybe you didn't make them as proud sometimes, but you get out of them and you try to make them proud. And then you want to leave that legacy for your children. And so my daughters mean everything to me, and they are women. I was at an Organization of Women Executives event a couple of months back, and Deborah Cordova spoke, and she said that the gap in wages for women will take 257 years for us to make the same rate of pay that men make. And that stayed with me.
257.
257 years.
That's 257 years too long.
It used to be 210, and it went up to 257 years. Can you imagine that? So we as a community need to do something. My daughters are going to be dead by the time there's a proper wage for women to be valued for what they're worth. If we don't make those changes together, then how is the world going to be better for those women? And I do want to say thank you.
If you own a company, if you're a boss, please take note. Senator, what motivates you? What's your driving force?
It's a combination of factors, but one, I do remember how I come from a large family. We had 8 children and 2 parents. My father was a truck driver, but I do remember watching our furniture being repossessed by lax, and my mom was crying. Then I watched again, and then next time was Edelstein, and I saw my dad's car repossessed, and I didn't want to fly. I said, there's something here that I want to do. I want to be successful so that I can help my parents. And I would see Mr. Ralph Finley, Mr. Hammond Bodine, back then in those days, and they were good people. They had very nice cars, very nice houses, but they also encouraged me to be successful, and I did. And I never lost the motivation to be successful. And then when I went to high school, again, the same type of factors pushing me. My coaches, became captain of the football team, captain of the basketball team, how to succeed, the discipline and focus. And then the one that really just continued pushing me is when I came back from Vietnam. I was very motivated. I worked about 35 hours at the McAllen Post Office unloading mail trucks, including graduating 2.5 years with honors. It's just something that drives me. I have this drive to not fail, and it's important. It's just the energy that I feel and I sense. I want to do well. I want to do good.
So were you able to help your parents?
And I continue pushing that. I don't. We see a lot of obstacles in life, but you try to always take a very positive approach in what you see. Take a positive approach to people, and you trust them, and they show you otherwise. So I just feel a drive within me, certain energy, certain discipline, certain focus that continue to drive me, my parents, and what I learned from them, and my teachers.
Okay, and Nick, what pushes you?
To wake up in the morning, I love building great communities for people that they want to raise their kids in, work in, live in, and then developing a great team and giving them more opportunities, and then continuing to make changes to create better places to live, and then creating more jobs and opportunities for our team.
So we've talked a lot about giving back to the community. As a business leader, why do you think that's so important? Why should folks give back?
For us in building communities, we think it's essential as far as we've donated over 300 acres for public parks.
Wow.
The National Butterfly Center, the Benson State Park World Birding Center, and almost all the parks in our communities, a lot of them are public. And we've donated school sites, church sites, and we think to have a great community, the nonprofits and cities and schools and churches are essential for that. So we think it's a really important part of our business to help continue to train new leaders and develop new people and give them opportunities. So
you mentioned the World Birding Center, you mentioned Benson Rio Grande Valley State Park or the Butterfly Center, and they all pertain to our great city. So how do you kind of get that going? How do you think about, hey, you know what, we're just going to give this parcel of land to the great city of Mission?
You can thank my mom and dad for that.
Well, thanks, Mom and Dad.
But when we started Benson Palm, my mom she's a master gardener, and she's on the Nature Conservancy Board.
Oh, okay.
And it's her major passion was landscape and butterflies and animals and things like that. And my dad wanted to develop this really great neighborhood, cool community that was kind of ecotourism focused. So kind of they both decided to focus on nature. And then they had an opportunity with the World Birding Center. They were trying to pick a headquarters site at the time. And there was camping. The reason it's there was camping in Benson State Park. And they said, we can't have a campground next to the Birding Center headquarters. So unfortunately, my dad said, if I build a RV park and then remove the camping, they said, oh, you can have the headquarters if we do that. So now we own an RV resort in Mission, Texas as well.
I'm glad it's in Mission.
Yeah.
Actually, little known fact, my first job ever, I was an entrance fee collector at Benson State Park when I was 16 years old. That was my first job. So I remember when they were camping. And so it's really cool to see the development. So thank you to you and your family for that. Senator, same thing. You give back so much to the community. As a leader, as a political leader, as a business leader, why do you think that it's so crucial to do that?
I think we all can give back to our community in our own way. And the reason it's important is that our community is really family. It impacts all of us. We have to improve from parks to a healthcare system to fundraisers for nonprofits. Staying involved is extremely important. I always say if you don't get involved, then you can't complain. And for us, I truly believe in that. You know, if we differ in terms of approach, that's okay too. The key is this: we all have children, we all have grandkids, we all have brothers and sisters. We need to make sure that we all have a safe community for all of us. It is not just one individual, one person. It's for all of us. So I truly believe in that. I would tell you I get a lot of satisfaction by a lot of the work that I do in giving back to the community from different projects that I've been able to fund. And sometimes for me, as you asked me a while ago, what drives me, I think I've been named one of the top 10 legislators from the Valley, the Valle, the Beaner. So he's calling Vietnam the Beaner, right?
I said it.
And it's a lot of the potential that we have in our community. Sometimes we underestimate. We have all these young people that need help and guidance and mentoring. For us, the Valley is where the action is. So we all have to pitch in to continue making that grow and making a better quality of life for all of us as one family.
Okay. Sarah, same to you. I mean, I read through your bio. You're on a ton of boards and committees and involved very heavily in the community. So why do you think it's so important to give back to your Rio Grande Valley?
There was this movie called Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And in it, he was told by his stepdad, with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay.
And that is very true of each and every one of us. We all hold power because we all are present, right? We're all alive. And if we don't use that power, your life force, to give back, to build better, then what are you doing with your life? We have to put ourselves in positions where that is the first and foremost thing that we want to do every single day. You want to mentor people. You want to see people out there and give them a hand, help them change, help them grow better. You know, we have great state rules and taxes that we have to pay to infrastructure, to create, you know, our cities, our beautiful things that we have. Those are all our responsibilities, but it goes beyond that. It goes into what are you feeding to the people around you? And are you bringing positivity into the world? I remember that phrase again, resist the urge to hate. And I think that's what drives me to serve the community. And the fact that because I own the company, I can use my own time and I can go out to these boards and serve on the board and help these boards as much as possible because they build the community. Just like the Mission Chamber, they're doing amazing things for our businesses and our
Yes, they
business
are.
leaders. So thank you.
So it's all about sharing positivity. Mayor touched on it a little bit. Our lives have changed. COVID-19, this coronavirus pandemic, has definitely changed and touched every aspect of our lives. So how has it been for you and your company?
It was very difficult in the beginning, and I say difficult just because there was just so much change, right? First lockdown, I sent my office staff home. So we had to make sure everybody was set up at home to work, to keep everybody as safe as possible. Tried to give back to my employees as much as possible because my employees were all essential workers. So there was never a day that they stopped working. And having to make sure that they were gonna be safe and figuring out ways to make sure that they would go into homes that were safe and that they would leave, and before they would walk into their home, creating systems where they would either change at the office and put on new clothes, and just so that they wouldn't take anything into their homes, into their children and their families, and giving them peace of mind that we were there for them. So it was a lot of pivoting and a lot of changing, but my team is amazing. I am here today because I have an amazing support team. The company, they give back, they love to see me out in the community, and they say, that's what you're meant to do, ma'am. Don't go come to the office, we'll handle it. And so I have an amazing team, I really do.
Hence your cheering section, right?
Yes.
Senator, same to you. COVID-19, I mean, it switched our entire lives around. How did it affect you in your role up at the Capitol?
Well, there are different aspects. COVID-19 pandemic has completely changed our economy and the way we will approach it in the future, dealing with trying to work at home, but also in terms of campaigning, it's very difficult. You become like you're hibernating. You don't get to be out there shaking hands like you could before. Now we're doing better after vaccination, but it's a real challenge. In Austin, we had to test every day. They wouldn't let people come into the Capitol. They were tested, had to wear a mask, and there was a lot of pushback, but it was very difficult. And also dealing with a number of people that were infected, but also people that were dying. We experienced death in our family because of COVID. I think many of us have experienced that. So it has really changed our lives in how vulnerable we really are. In the state capitol, Austin is a very different place than it used to be. They're a lot more stricter up there than they are here in the valley in many ways, with the restaurants, with the business community, and the rules they have to be able to try to control COVID. It's just been a life changer. I don't think we'll ever be the same as we look into the future, as this COVID-19 continues to mutate, and we try to keep ahead of it with science. And the biggest change is that we have politicized healthcare. It's just unbelievable to me that here we are, and I'm gonna get some pushback on this, we vaccinate and require vaccination of our children. It's mandated to go to school, but at the same time, there's a lot of pushback on the virus vaccine. I really don't understand that, but it's been very politicized instead of allowing healthcare experts, the doctors, people who are medical experts, to dictate how to deal with the COVID. We are politicizing the issue. So it's very difficult. We have those debates. As a matter of fact, the third special session starts Monday next week. I've been up in Austin now since January, so there'll be almost 10 months that I've been up in Austin. And one of the debates will be dealing with masks and vaccines. And it's very difficult because we're fighting two fronts. One, trying to deal with the healthcare and the well-being of the community as a whole. The other one is the politics involved, where they politicize the whole issue, where science doesn't matter, healthcare expertise doesn't matter. It's the politics coming in from the political sector, and that's very challenging up in Austin.
Okay, Nick, same thing. I mean, I think that we're all still learning. We're still grappling, still trying to figure out an unprecedented challenge. We never thought that we would see our world like this. So what kind of impact did it have on your company?
Well, what I was saying was on COVID-19, Senator Hinojosa and Sarah did a nice job explaining, the healthcare aspect and safety. But for us, we think COVID-19 represents a great opportunity to try a lot of new things we wouldn't have tried before because of the unprecedented situation. So selling a house online, doing a virtual tour. We sold over 50 houses last year that the people don't live here and never saw the house, and the house didn't exist. So to be able to do things like that with virtual tours and AI and things like that. Yeah, so we have a lot of people from out of state that buy houses, that we have all these tools now to do that. And in most industries, just a lot of waste got eliminated. So I always thought like these people that would come sell me stuff on like business trips, man, it's a massive waste. How much it costs them to come down here. Now they're predicting 40% of business travel will never come back, which is going to save a lot of people a lot of money and time with digital tools like Zoom and things like that. So I think on the economy side of COVID-19, it gave a lot of people a chance to experiment with ways to be more efficient and help serve their customers better coming out of it as well. So a lot of things we started doing during COVID-19, we'll definitely keep doing after because we think they work better and they're faster and things like more flexible. So.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is our panel for today. We're going to start wrapping it up. Can we have a warm round of applause for all of our panelists and our speakers? Senator Chuy, Nick, Sarah, we thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to be with us today. It's definitely been my pleasure to be on the stage with all of you. You guys are amazing. And now I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President of the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce, Mr. CJ Sanchez, to officially wrap it up for us.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank our amazing moderator and MC, Ms. Roxanne Lerma, for being with us today. She's always got our back here at the Chamber, and we appreciate her stepping it up. I'd like to thank our guests, Ms. Sarah Hammond, Mr. Senator Chuy Hinojosa, and Mr. Nick Rhodes. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight and gifting us with your time. The Mission Chamber would like to thank everyone that helped make today's event possible. I'd like to thank the Mix Academy with helping with our AV needs. I'd like to thank the Cimarron Country Club for today's delicious meal. And a very special thanks to the rest of the Mission Chamber team. I'd like to thank Jennifer, Amanda, Clarissa, Leslie, and of course our CEO and President, Ms. Brenda Enriquez, who all worked together to make today's program successful. Once again, I'd like to thank our title sponsor, Vexus Fiber, and all of our premier investors for continuing to support the Mission Chamber, and as well to all of our table sponsors today. Without your all support, events like this wouldn't be possible, so thank you guys, and we appreciate you all joining us today, and safe travels home. Thank you.